What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Game Show presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts, Josh and John Luke. But again, I'm skipping over you guys. We're on a string of amazing guests. We've got another one joining us today, Dave Heilman, a.k.a. Dynasty Dorks on Twitter. He's the host of the Dynasty Dorks Fantasy Football Podcast. You can find him on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you guys listen to your podcast. What's up, Dave?
How we doing? I appreciate you guys inviting me on the show. Excited to talk about some rookies.
Hell yeah. Yeah, thanks for coming on.
It's been a minute coming. You got Dynasty in your name. I figured that would be the perfect time to bring out some of this rookie talk right before the NFL draft. So I was telling Dave right before the show, this is actually my first rookie mock for 2021. I've been reading about the rookies. I've been doing my rookie research, but I have not yet done a rookie mock. It's time to kick those into gear. This will probably launch an obsession for the next 2 weeks where I'm just doing rookie mock after rookie mock after rookie mock, but I'm excited to get the first one on here today. What's up, Kenny? Kenny wants us to do a 10-team, 1 QB, no tight end premium, dynasty startup mock, half PPR, and maybe we can do that next week. That's something we can look at for sure. We are not doing that this week. Yeah, I wonder if that's specific settings he's in. Yeah, we can look at that for next week possibly. We haven't planned out that draft yet, but that's something we can do. Jay Wall, what's up? He said, wish I could join, have fun. That's okay. You can join in spirit afterwards when you're watching it. And what's up, Sully? He said, happy Monday. Anthony in here too. Hey, fellas, nothing but good vibes. And Jordan's ready to get this show on the road. Z2, our mock draft guest from last week in the chat. What's up, Z2? And Jay, continuing to push Front Yard Fam. I'll endorse Front Yard Fam. I'm officially endorsing that, Jay, because it's so much better than FY Fam. That was awful. I'm glad you abandoned that one. What's up, Brady? Happy Monday. Listening, not able to draft. That's okay. We're talking rookies today. It's going to be a little different from our normal mock draft episodes. A little bit more discussion, but there's a little bit more to discuss with these players, right? And Jordan said, Jay, return to the chat. Missed you. Jay said, this is my home. Yeah, Jay spent a whole week on the stream with us last week, but he's back in the chat this week. Back to harass us, back to dominated all the games while he's not on the show.
I already missed Jay week.
I know. Jay week was fun. Jeff week, we got to get that into shape. Get a full week of Jeffs. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and add this up. We've got 2 mock drafts to get through, so I think we should go ahead and get started in a minute. Let's go ahead and look at where we are drafting from. Dave, and this is for everyone watching. This is our first mock draft we're going to do. We're doing 2 today. This is the 2021 PPR rookie draft. So this is 1 QB, non-superflex PPR rookie draft. We're going to do 3 rounds, and this will be linear, not snake, since most rookie drafts are linear, not snake. So that 12 spot, you're going to be picking 12 in every round. 1 spot, you're going to be picking 1 in every round. Dave, you are drafting from the 7 spot. Is there a reason you picked this spot to draft from, or do you like it, or you just that's where you landed?
That's just where I landed. I just 1 is a little kind of chalk for both places, so I want to see how it falls, and we'll see who falls to me at 7 and see if I can get a value there.
Absolutely. I think in a super flex league, that 7 to 9 spot is like something that I know Josh has talked about it. Like that's a beautiful spot to be. We'll see what it looks like in these in the non super flex leagues. Josh, you are drafting from the 9 spot. It looks like JL from the 4, and then I'm wrapping it up with the 12. Just for fun. Actually, you know what? Not just for fun, Josh. It's because I beat you and JL in our dynasty league, and I just needed a little bit of practice drafting from this spot before our actual rookie draft. Guys, if you want to go back and watch our previous mock drafts or any of our other games, you can find us on YouTube at Front Yard Fantasy. Subscribe to us there. Make sure you never miss another one of our drafts games. We're live every day at 3 p.m. Eastern, and subscribing over there is a great way to make sure you don't miss it. But without further ado, if you guys are ready, Jay's got the first pick. Wonder where he's going to go. I guess this one's not as – there's a consensus one. But there's probably a couple players this year. Like I feel like in years past, it was pretty clear cut exactly who was going 1. I could see people making the case for probably 2 other players in a non-superflex league going number 1. But let's go ahead and begin the draft.
In a non-superflex league, I think there's a real case to be had for 4 people to go number 1. I really do.
Yeah. I think that's the case.
And I'm taking out one of the running backs. So there's 2 running backs, a wide receiver,
ETN and Harris.
Maybe a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I have a Freiermuth. Yeah, that's who's going at number 1 overall. I've said it before. Najee Harris and Travis Etienne are not a tier break for me. So depending on landing spot, ETN could be my top running back. I don't think they're that far separated. I know some people completely disagree. Dave, where do you stand on that? Who's your 101 in these non-Superflex rookie drafts?
Well, I'm up in 2 picks, so I don't know if I want to let the cat out the bag yet. But I have put out some videos, and Jamar Chase is my 101. Receivers in dynasty formats are going to have a longer shelf life.
Yeah,
I feel like Jamar Chase will have Najee Harris is 23. Not that he's old, but he's not going to have the same shelf life as Jamar Chase. And then, I like Najee Harris as my 2, and then Travis Etienne as my 3. And I think it's a really strong case for Pitts at 4. I'm more comfortable taking him somewhere around the 8 or 9 range because you're going to have to wait. I know he's going to be generational guy, probably the tight end 1 overall next season or the season after. But this year, if he finishes in the top 6, that'll be, an outlier season. So looking what's on the board, I mean, there's a lot of guys that I like, but I'm going to play the ADP game and try to wait on my next guys. I will take Devonta Smith here.
Devonta Smith at the 7 pick. So it sounds like from the way you described it, you have a clear tier break. Like Jamar Chase is in a tier of his own if those other 3 players are after them. You said Pitts, ETN, Najee Harris. So is there a clear tier break after Jamar Chase for you between all the other wide receivers?
Yeah, I think so. And again, we don't have teams, so it's much easier for me to go and just say Chase is 1.
Yep.
If you need a running back, that easily puts Harris and ETN above him. So for me, because we don't have, teams to associate with, most likely you need a running back more than you do a receiver. I can see why people go with Harris, but in this one, I would have taken Chase as the 1.
Makes sense. What's up, NBA? Welcome
NBA.
in. Jay said, "Wow." You know what? I agree, Jay. Wow. And NBA said, "Josh and JL, I'm so disappointed with the Ravens. They helped out Kansas City a ton with Orlando Brown plus 2 picks." I know I was about to say they helped themselves out as far as like a player that didn't want to be on their team. That's about best case scenario. Like you should be happy with the Ravens if you're a Ravens fan.
I think Swamp didn't realize this is not Superflex.
Yeah. He says Orlando Brown plus 2 picks. I think I think it was a second round pick we gave them with Orlando Brown, and we got back a first, third, and 1 next year. I understand what you're saying. It's probably not what Orlando Brown is worth if Orlando Brown didn't say he wanted to leave the Ravens and play left tackle. I mean, that's really where the issue comes in. He doesn't want to play here anymore. He wants to play left tackle. I hope he has a good career with the Chiefs, I guess.
So one thing that Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks talked about was you couldn't have 2 polar opposite offenses. The Chiefs are extremely pass heavy and the Ravens are extremely run heavy. He wasn't asked to pass protect as much as he will be at the next level.
Yes.
And the Ravens got out of having to pay that big contract because he wants to play left tackle because he wants the money. Yeah, and that's what that's about. So I like the move, and he may work out, but I will question that a little bit. Of not that he can't pass protect, but he's going to be asked to pass protect a lot more in Kansas City than he was in Baltimore.
And he's a run blocker. I mean, like that's where he makes it. He made his name being a run blocker in college. I'm sure he could pass protect in college. He's bigger than everyone in college, but it seems like he's meant to play right tackle. Like you said, I think he's really just trying to get that big payday.
Completely agree. Jay Wall says JL's first pick will be Cheez-Its. Yep. JL is now public enemy number 1 of all Cheez-It fans on Twitter. Happened over the weekend.
Yep.
Cheez-Its Twitter hates JL now. Jordan said, I picked 108 so I wouldn't get Waddle or Smith and could pick someone fun like Elijah Moore. Well, sorry your plan failed and you ended up with Jalen Waddle, Jordan. I think that works out fine for you, though. And then Sully said, Pitts is my 101. Happy to grab him at 3. So, Josh, that kind of goes along with what you were saying at the beginning here, that you can make an argument for 4 different players to go in that 101 spot. I have especially in tight end premium, I think there's especially no issue with taking Pitts 101 overall. But even in a non-tight end premium, I have no issue with it. I'm probably not doing it, but I'm also the guy who's drafting Travis Kelce at the end of first rounds in startups just so I can completely avoid trouble at that position. So if you believe Pitts is going to be a Kelce level of dominance player, I have absolutely no problem taking him at 101 and locking that up for your team. NBA. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, just back to the point where I said there's 4 people that I personally could make an argument to be 101. I would take Javonte Williams out of that conversation just because I'm having trouble seeing him be a first-round pick in the NFL draft. I do think he's going to be good for fantasy. I think he's kind of in a tier with Etienne and Harris still. It's just I don't see him being a number 1 overall pick in a dynasty league. But Harris, Pitts, Jamar Chase, and Travis Etienne, I absolutely could see all those players go 101, no doubt.
2 more quarterbacks gone in this round so far. JL, you took Justin Fields, and Dave, you took Zach Wilson. This is about the range, I'm guessing, where there's like a drop-off in running backs and wide receivers for you guys, so you're taking a shot on these quarterbacks. Is Fields your 2? Is it Trevor Lawrence, Fields, Wilson in order for both of you guys?
Yeah.
Yep. John Luke, you too?
Yep, same for me.
Josh has brought this up before. If Fields goes to the 49ers and Lawrence goes to Jacksonville, does that flip their positions in drafts for you at all? Like, would you draft Fields over Lawrence in a startup if Fields is with San Francisco and Trevor's with Jacksonville?
Isn't that what we're expecting?
Well, Fields is not the odds-on favorite for San Francisco.
Right.
I think Lance is the odds-on favorite. I'm saying, like, with the landing spot, are they close enough that those landing spots, Jacksonville for Trevor, San Francisco, even if we're expecting it, the question still stands. Like, will the landing spot change it? I think from a talent perspective, most people have Lawrence ahead of Fields, but could the landing spot switch those 2 for you guys?
No.
For like a fantasy perspective, right?
For fantasy, yes.
Yeah, for me, absolutely.
So if Fields is in, I'm struggling with that one because I do like Trevor Lawrence's talent significantly more, but man, is San Francisco a great landing spot for a quarterback in this draft. That's just going to be beautiful.
No matter who goes there, whether it's Trey Lance or Justin Fields, they're going to be up there. So the last thing would be Mac Jones.
Yes,
he doesn't have the rushing upside that those guys have. Shanahan has, he's been successful with different styles of quarterbacks, which I think, that adds to the chaos of what's going to happen of 3, because Matt Ryan obviously is not a mobile guy. Kirk Cousins is not a mobile guy, and both guys were successful under Shanahan. But he also, with, when he had RG3 and in Washington, he's a rookie of the year. So having Fields and having Lance, someone like that, go there, that rushing upside is too much to pass up. And I know Lawrence can run. I don't think he's going to run as much as those guys do. So when you're looking at a 600-yard floor versus a 200-yard floor, that's a lot of fantasy points that are going to make up, for Fields. So we've talked about it on our show quite a bit. And I would not blink if somebody took Justin Fields the 101 if he goes to San Francisco.
I think I completely agree with that. And redraft, if you're drafting one of these guys and they go to those landing spots, I think Fields is clearly above Trevor Lawrence for next season with him in San Francisco, Trevor in Jacksonville. Like redraft purposes, Dynasty, I'm probably still going T-Law 101. But like you said, I wouldn't blink if someone went Fields 101 given those landing spots.
My only concern with redraft would be is if they do just decide to let him sit for a little while and let Jimmy Garoppolo start the year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but there's definitely a possibility. So, but we'll see this unravel as we get closer to the season too.
Absolutely. People seem to like Sully's draft so far. Let's take a look at what he ended up with. Kyle Pitts with the 103, Elijah Moore with the 203, and Diami Brown with the 303. Yeah. That's a killer draft from the 3 spot right there. I feel like grabbing Elijah Moore there at the 2-3 is a steal. I feel like both the Moores went kind of late. Is this around, for those of you that have done more rookie mocks, where do you usually see Rondale Moore and Elijah Moore going?
Rondale Moore right here. I think we're going to see Rondale Moore late first, early second in pretty much all these drafts. You see him going a little bit early. I mean, like there's people that like Elijah Moore and Kadarius Toney and maybe not Seth Williams. I'm not sure, but I know there's a lot of people that like these guys more than Rondale Moore. So I could see him slipping, but I could also see someone seeing the upside and just wanting to grab that upside and take him. I was considering him with the 9th pick. So
Yeah. After this draft, I want to address NBA's question. What are you guys' tier break for wide receiver? We can talk about that. We already addressed it a little bit with Dave about his top tier, but kind of talk about what that next tier of wide receivers looks like. And Josh, you're on the clock. Do you know that?
Oh, I did not know.
You have 20 seconds. Yeah, your face said you didn't know you were on the clock.
Yeah.
So this is not my first mock, and I definitely am upset that the ADP had Kylan Hill that high up there. I was hoping he snuck. So whoever got Kylan Hill, nice pick. I was not happy when Kylan Hill went off the board.
Oops.
Big Kylan Hill fan?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to pick him up.
I definitely think I think he's going to get drafted higher than people think. I like his versatility. I like his prototypical size. His ability to catch the ball is huge, and being able to function in two different offenses successfully was just big for me. And then this year, going to the air raid with Mike Leach and catching that many balls, he had 23 catches in 2 games as a running back at 5'11", 215 pounds. Like that you don't see that much in this draft class because a lot of these guys are 200 pounds or less than that. So we did a 2-round mock on the NFL Draft Bible, and they said, is there one guy that you'd pick in the 3rd round that you would stand on the table for? And I said Kylan Hill, and then Matt Hicks called me an SOB because I took his guy. So if Matt Hicks was mad about it, then I'm onto something, I think.
Yeah. I love Hill.
I do not know where to go with this pick.
I did not mean to draft Stevenson. Definitely would have drafted Jamar Jefferson if I was at that pick.
I was considering Jefferson at my 3rd round pick.
I'm glad I could help you out, Simon.
I felt like there was a wide receiver I was missing. I was looking at the draft board and I was like, there's a wide receiver I'm missing. I couldn't quite place who it was. I'm still not sure if I'm
Amari Rogers.
Is he
still in there? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, Amari Rogers.
Cool. I like Amari Rogers.
There we go. Let's address NBA's question real quick. He said, what are your guys' tier breaks for wide receivers? So we can kind of look at how this draft played out and look at that for this. So Jamar Chase went first. I think he's my top receiver, but I know Dave said he was in a tier of his own for you. Josh, Jail, is he also in a tier of his own for you guys, or are there other wide receivers up there that you're pairing with him? I
have him with Waddle and Smith as well.
Yeah. For me, he's in a tier with Waddle and Smith, but absolutely at the top of the tier. I think Waddle and Smith have just as much talent. I really do. But I would take Jamar Chase first out of those options.
Yeah. So that next tier for you guys is Waddle Smith. That's like after Jamar Chase, no Bateman in there, no Marshall, no Rondale Moore.
That's all 2nd tier for me.
That's all 2nd tier. So Rashad Bateman, Terrace Marshall, Rondale Moore, anybody else in that 2nd tier? I think I would put Elijah Moore in that tier as well. I don't know where you guys stand on him.
Elijah Moore absolutely goes in that tier in my mind. And then that's another tier for me.
Dave, what about you?
Yeah. Draft capital could play into this, but as of now, that's where I have it. And I would put Elijah Moore as well. I'm not as high on Rondale Moore. I don't know how consistent he's going to be as a fantasy producer. Whether he's going to be a gadget guy or whether he's going to be really featured in an offense.
Right.
But I do think that, draft capital could bring some guys up. Like Tylan Wallace is someone that's not really talked about, but if he gets to day 2 draft capital, I'm really excited about him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you said it perfectly. Right now, pre-draft, he's probably in my tier 3, but if he goes early into a good situation, then he could very easily move up into that tier above him. After that, we kind of broke down that next tier. I know you mentioned Kylan Hill as a running back, but what about wide receivers in these like back half of the 2nd, 3rd round, or even later 4th round guys? Anyone that stands out to you, maybe as a value that people can target in these rookie drafts at wide receiver?
For me, I like Seth Williams at the end of the 2nd. Yeah. I thought that was a good.
I'm right there with you. On Seth Williams.
Kadarius Toney is a really interesting name. I'm going to be interested to see where he ends up in the draft by at the end of this week.
He could go. I could see him sneaking his way up to like the very beginning of that 2nd round, maybe back end of the 1st in rookie drafts, not in the actual NFL draft. I don't know where he's going to end up there, but that will determine where he goes in these rookie drafts, right? I don't know how much of the hype is real, how much of the hype the NFL GMs agree with, or the scouts agree with, but it seems like it's really been picking up steam recently. Excuse me. JL, you said a name right at the end there. The wide receiver that I was forgetting, Amari Rogers, I think is a great late round target. He's not going to be one of these like Jamar Chase superstar type guys, but I think he can be a solid fantasy contributor, likely immediately. Like he's got a pro ready game. He's not going to be some insane down the field, crazy numbers kind of guy, but he could be a solid fantasy contributor. I think pretty much right away for your team. He's a guy in the third, fourth, maybe fifth. I'm not sure how far he's going to fall that I'm looking to target in these rookie drafts.
I like Amari Rogers a lot.
Me too. If he lands in the right spot, I'm going to be really hyped for him.
I think it's because there's so many shorter slot receivers in this draft class that he's kind of getting pushed down because of that. There's not as many big guys like Nico Collins and Seth Williams. That's why these guys stand out to me a little bit. I feel like this class is loaded with shorter slot kind of receivers, and if Seth Williams or Nico Collins or some other bigger guys I think they're going to get better draft capital because of their size. Essentially, is what I'm saying.
Anthony said, great mock, guys. The only pick I'm not so sure about was Trevor, and Tyler was agreeing. Amari Rogers is an excellent late round target. Also, did Trevor go at 2? I'm pretty sure Swamp didn't know that it was a super flex, so we took Trevor there. But you know what?
Non-super flex.
We're talking, non-super flex. We're talking about it, and while I would never draft Trevor Lawrence at 2, that doesn't mean it's wrong. You know what I mean? Like we're wrong all the time about where these guys go. If you needed a quarterback, you believe he's truly generational, like people are saying, there's no shame in just grabbing your guy and locking up that position for 5-10 years. If that's what you want to do. Again, not what I would do in a 1 quarterback league, but I can't throw shade if someone wanted to draft him that early. Craig said Jamar at the end is a very nice value. Yeah, thank you, JL.
Should have been my pick.
And Tyler said it literally cannot be correct. Well, it could be. We don't know if he puts up if Trevor Lawrence put up like Peyton Manning MVP season type numbers for 5 years in a row.
His rookie year? Oh my God. Yeah, man, he probably is worth it. But my question is, how early is too early to draft him in this kind of format?
I was going to ask where you guys are comfortable.
Yeah.
I typically not I took Justin Fields at the 2-4 there. I'm usually not considering QB in a 1 QB league until that like 2-3, 2-4 area. But Trevor's a little bit more interesting. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I asked the question, so I don't have to answer.
Oh, that's fair.
Right?
That's fair. I did just hijack your question and make you answer it.
I don't want to answer this really. No, it would be early second round, for me. Could you make an argument if you really need a quarterback late first? I guess, but I'd rather take the wide receiver talent.
There's just so much opportunity. Like you just get a QB anywhere. Where I trade for a QB.
Yeah, I would consider it like at the very back of the first, like at that 12 spot. If the top tier running back, wide receiver, tight end is all gone, you could make a case to draft Trevor there. But if either of the Moores are sitting there looking at me, I'm probably drafting one of them. It looks like that's about the range they're going in. Then I guess, or Kenny Gainwell. I think I'm looking at the running backs and who win in that range. If Kenny Gainwell or either of the Moores are sitting there, I'm probably drafting them. But Trevor Lawrence would be interesting at 12. I'm not certain I'd be able to pass him up if I was drafting that last spot and he was still sitting there looking at me. Dave, what about you? Where are you comfortable drafting Trevor Lawrence in a 1 QB rookie?
Or any quarterback, the first quarterback. How about that?
Yeah. So I think this goes back to our conversation of Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields being so close.
Yes.
So I think that range is right about where it is. But again, none of us have teams that we're drafting for. So we're just going with our favorite player, best available. And in your home leagues, it may not go exactly like this because someone may need a quarterback or someone may need a running back. So if I'm sitting at the 11 or 12, I might try to trade back if I'm going to target Trevor Lawrence and get him at the 2 or 3 or maybe the 4. But I'm probably not going to take him in the first round. And I know that the value is probably pick 14 or 15. So I'll just trade back if I can.
Yeah, That's really smart strategy.
And with these quarterbacks that can run, we mentioned it earlier, Justin Fields, Trey Lance. Even Zach Wilson can get around a little bit. Like, I love Trevor Lawrence. He probably is a generational talent, but I'm not going to reach for him when I can get these other guys a little bit later who I think can be maybe just as good in fantasy. So, yeah,
for sure. Jordan said Mahomes actually went 2 overall in the rookie draft of his home league, and a lot of people made fun of that one. Yeah, and I probably would have too at the time. Know what I mean? 100% would have mocked that person relentlessly, but that's what's fun about fantasy football, and that's why, again, you shouldn't veto trades either or say draft picks are horrible because stuff changes. We're wrong all the time. Things change. I bring it up all the time. Jalen and I have made some trades that at the time looked very fair, that whenever you look back on them now, they are comical, just how horrible of a trade it was. But things change quickly. And in hindsight, those picks that looked awful can end up being great. That doesn't mean we're not going to give you the best advice or the most probable outcome for these players. But I don't want to shame people for taking their shot. If you've got a player you want, it's totally fine to take your shot. All that talk about QBs, though, is getting me a little bit hungry to jump into this Superflex mock. I imagine we'll see some similar stuff. Maybe on this one we can take some more time to talk about the players that we specifically like, what we want to do there. We can tackle our picks as we make them. I don't know where everybody is drafting in this one. I know I decided to draft from the 1. I went from the 12 in one of them and then from the 1 in the other. But we can pull up that other one momentarily. Dave, besides Kylan Hill, just out of curiosity, any other running backs that you are targeting late in these rookie drafts going into draft season?
So I took Demetric Felton. He's someone that offers some, he definitely offers some versatility to his game. He can be used and deployed like a Nyheim Hines, one of those pass catching running backs, a pass catching specialist. So I took that as an upside, assuming it's PPR. But yeah, Jamar Jefferson would have been the other guy that I was considering at that spot. That's pretty much about it.
Darn.
Yeah, I took Felton just because I thought it was more of a fun pick. He was really far down on the ADP. I thought it was interesting how far Tony was. Tony was really down on the ADP, but you can tell fantasy football just does not like Tony.
We talked about it going into this. Just a lot of projections have him going as a first-round pick in the NFL draft. And if he's actually a first-round pick in the NFL draft, there's no way he's going to, get drafted as late as he's going right now.
We'll see not quite CEH levels of ADP rising, but we will see something similar if he ends up being a first-round pick. I mean, last year, nobody had CEH even in their top 3 running backs, really. And then he gets drafted first round to the Chiefs, and all of a sudden he's the consensus 101 over guys like Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, right? I think we could see something similar, not to that extreme. I don't expect Tony to be the first or second wide receiver taken off the board, but going in the first round could really skyrocket his ADP up there. And then Z2 says Caleb Huntley is a name that will be a James Robinson type. Calling your shot. That's a bold take. Either a late round or undrafted guy that comes in and does it. But we've seen it quite a bit recently, haven't we? Phillip Lindsay, James Robinson, there's always someone that kind of surprises us. I don't want to say always, but it's happened multiple times in recent years. Jordan got said that he traded the 3 pick for Patrick Mahomes, and he thought that it was with Rashad Penny that year, but it was actually the year with CMC. So I guess if you passed on CMC for Mahomes, you might still be a little bit upset about it. But really, I think there was 2 winners in that scenario, not a winner and a loser. Whoever got Mahomes, whoever got CMC, they're both probably still happy. Guys, I'm drafting first in this one. JL, you're drafting from the 4. Is that where you drafted in the other one?
Yep.
Drafting from the 4 in both. Let's see where.
I'm 10.
You're drafting from the 3, Dave. I missed you. I skipped right over you there. So Dave's drafting from the 3 right in front of JL. He can snipe his picks. And then Josh, you are drafting from the 10 slot. So that's a little bit outside of the range that you said you loved in a super flex league. I think you said 9 was kind of like that cutoff, right?
Yeah. Well, guess what? I'm going to get, no, it's actually, so in a super flex, I mean, there's 5 quarterbacks. There's 3 wide receivers. That's 8. And then there's 3 running backs. And that's like 11. Then there's a tight end. We talked about him before, Kyle Pitts. So there's a whole first round talent in my mind. So this should be a fun draft regardless.
You're fine with it. JL.
I love the 9th pick in both. I think you're going to get a snag in either one quarterback even, just like we saw last draft. Like someone drafts Trevor Lawrence. Man, I think it was Jordan, right? You got Jalen Waddle because of that. That's awesome. 9th pick's a good pick to have.
In a super flex league, how are you guys valuing that 101? Like if you have the 101, are you looking to move back, or are you just taking Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields and running with it?
So I do have the 101 in one of my drafts, and I'm just right now I'm taking Trevor Lawrence. I would consider Fields, but I probably would stick with Lawrence, depending on landing spot. And I know I had Kyle Senra on the show, and he said he would take Justin Fields to Kyle Shanahan in the 49ers if he goes there. So it'd be something to think about. And if you're that close on him, you could try to trade back.
Yeah. Tyler says 101 cost your soul. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. If these are the landing spots we're expecting, Fields to 49ers, Lawrence to Jacksonville, and you've got the 101, if the person at 102 desperately wants one of those two players, I've got no issue trying to just move back one spot and get some value out of them. And I'm about as big of a Trevor Lawrence fan as it comes, but with those landing spots, I've got no issue moving back a spot, grabbing Fields if that's your guy, and getting some additional value out of that. Maybe another pick, maybe like an early second round pick. Like, would you guys take the 102 and the 202 for the 101?
Not right now.
Now, let's say does the draft
Fields lands in San Francisco. Because if Matt goes there, I don't. Nah.
Yeah, if Matt goes there and Fields ends up on the Lions, then you're sitting there holding the bag, going, "I wish I didn't do that." But yeah, I would go with Lawrence unless it was a really, really good offer. That's my stance right now.
Yeah, I think I agree. I'm also going Lawrence. I just know there's a lot of people who love Fields and really believe in him. And if you are one of those people, you can probably get some value by moving back from that 101 just to the 102. See what the person at 2 wants to offer. But yeah, I think Lawrence is. I'm taking Lawrence no matter what, but I see the argument.
So the reason why you just maybe stay with the 101, even if you love Fields, is you draft Trevor Lawrence and his value is not going anywhere. It's staying where it is for a good time until we see him play at least. So you have, like I like to say, trading makes fantasy fun, right? So you have until the whole off season to try and make moves. And I don't think Trevor Lawrence's value really changes whatsoever. So you got that, and it's going to stay locked in. He's going to be starting unless he gets injured or something, and I don't see that happening.
Anthony says he would take that deal. Jordan and Tyler are saying they would just take Lawrence and run. Same with Sully. And again, I think I lean that way. I'm taking Lawrence and running. I'm just running with my guy, but there's value to be had there if you have them close. I know some people even have Fields 1. If you're that person, then definitely trade back from the 101 to get that extra value. You guys ready? I think there's going to be no surprise who my first pick is here.
Kyle
Fields,
Trask.
right?
Yeah, Fields. We're going Fields with this first pick. Let me pull it up, make sure. And guys, everyone watching, this is now a Superflex draft. So if you grab a spot in this one, this is the Superflex Rookie Draft. So make sure you guys are ready for that. And then I will get this started. Let me make sure we got the 2QP. ADP, and we are good to go as long as it says rookies only. Yep. Just make sure all the settings are right. Start this up. Not going to waste any time. Trevor Lawrence, 101. We were talking about it. He's my first pick. Tyler said he needs the 102 and 103 to consider a move from 101. Yeah, I would do that then. Unless you desperately needed a quarterback, but you're even getting a quarterback there, but I guess slightly less chance of hitting. Jordan said, I like how JL is wearing a Saquon jersey in honor of Jay. Yep.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Jay.
We love you, Jay.
So
he's still alive. Don't worry.
Where are you going here, Dave?
So I gave away my Jamar Chase pick, so I got sniped. So I'll take Justin Fields and be very happy about it at the 103 spot.
Oh yeah. So would you take Jamar Chase 102 in a Superflex league? Is that what you said?
No, but I was definitely targeting him at 3. I think that it's those guys, and then there's a tier break, and then you got Wilson and Lance.
Najee Harris, JL going Najee Harris and Travis Etienne over the next 2 quarterbacks.
Hey, Eagle Dan in here.
Eagle Dan went Travis Etienne. So JL, you're not touching that next group of quarterbacks. This is a tier break at QB for you where the running backs sneak in.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm not passing up on Najee.
What about you guys, Dave, Josh? Are you taking Najee, Travis Etienne here? Or are you going with Wilson, Lance, the next group of quarterbacks?
Well, my third favorite quarterback is Trey Lance. Above Wilson. I know that's debatable, but maybe it's the Jets. Maybe it's because I know Wilson's going to the Jets. I love Trey Lance's ability to run. I think it's right there next to Justin Fields. And I think Wilson still has a lot to work on in his game. So we'll see how it goes.
Man, Zach Wilson is falling far in
I
this
would
one.
definitely consider the running backs. And again, like we don't have teams, so position needs are not factoring into our process.
Mm-hmm.
But and landing spots we'll know in 3 days. but landing spots are not there. So if you put Trey Lance on the Broncos, I'm more excited, and that's where I'm probably moving him up the board.
Oh, Trey Lance with those weapons on the Broncos would be really exciting. I really think there's still a chance that Trey Lance goes to the 49ers as well.
Yeah,
there's a chance.
There's a good chance.
Dan said ETN at 5 all day.
Love
Zach
that.
Wilson at 9, I think, is a steal in a Superflex draft. Nice job, Z2. And then Jordan said meant to pick Waddle over Smith. So he's got Waddle over Devonta Smith. That one's going to be tough, right? Because we haven't seen Waddle in a minute. Do you guys have Smith or Waddle first? Who are you drafting out of those two guys?
I go back and forth all the time.
I would take Smith, and that's because I like consistency, and I just don't know if Waddle's going to be as consistent. I'm not going to call him a gadget guy or anything. I just think he's a big play guy where you might get 4 catches for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then next week you get kind of like Deshaun Jackson kind of a guy where he's just kind of poof goes away sometimes.
Yeah.
I just think Waddle is a game changer once he actually gets that ball in his hands. He's smaller, but he's extremely diverse. A lot of people want to compare him to like Henry Ruggs, who was diverse himself, or like they want to like just compare him to someone that's already there. He can do a lot. He's super fast and he can do it all. I think people want to pigeonhole him. I love his talent. And I'm not saying you're saying anything negative about him, Dave, but
no, I got you, man. For sure. I'm definitely a Waddle fan. Daniel Jeremiah actually said he would take Waddle over Judy, Ruggs, and Devonta Smith. And,
wow.
He knows a lot more than I do. So Daniel Jeremiah loves him.
Oh, man, I am thrilled to start this draft. Trevor Lawrence and then Rashad Bateman to start the second round at the 101. That is, I guess in Superflex you get some of this talent pushed down, right? Josh, you've been preaching this all off season, especially in Superflex dynasty leagues, to load up on second round picks. Like you can almost get
5 in one league
thrown in a bunch of trades, like as the thing that pushes the trade over the edge, right? Like if people are desperate to get the trade done, they might throw their second in there. And these are high value picks this year in Superflex drafts, especially. Let's see. Jordan said Dan for president 2021. Yep. Dan, and your platform is ETN at 5. That's your whole platform. And Sully, Josh, to your point, said I have Lance ahead of Fields currently. So he goes Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, then Justin Fields. Oh, did your guy get taken, JL? Dave sniped you.
Bad Dave. Bad Dave.
Terrace Marshall, we talked about him a little bit, right? What's your ideal landing spot for him? Where do you want him to go?
In Kansas City. That Kansas City pick is not there anymore. I think he would be good on the Saints. I think the Packers is probably the best spot for him to pair him up with Devontae Adams. My worst spot, and Ravens, I'm sorry. And it
makes a lot of sense NFL-wise.
NFL-wise, it is a fantastic pick. He is the perfect Batman to the Robin of Marquise Brown, and they really need another big target out there. So I think for Lamar Jackson, managers, that's a great move. He wins in the deep third of the field, and he's really good in the red zone. So I think he's someone that would really benefit Lamar Jackson. I look at the target share and I go 99 targets for Marquise Brown. Number 2 is 48 for Willie Snead. Nobody is going to be a fantasy producer on that kind of a volume. I think the next was like 33. They just do not pass the ball enough for anyone. That's why free agent receivers stay out of Baltimore.
Except for Sammy. Sammy Watkins said, Give it to me. I'll take the challenge. I think it's part of his triumphant comeback.
I don't think.
Or you know what? All the targets. I think he's going to get whatever amount of targets he got in Week 1 with the Chiefs. He'll get spread out across an entire season with Baltimore. There we go. Maybe that's his plan. He just got too tired in 1 week with the Chiefs, and so now he's trying to make it so he can last the whole season. What's up, John? He said, "JR here. Thanks for keeping me entertained. Glad to have you in here, man." And then Jordan was responding to Tyler. Tyler saying it's looking like Jones with Lance as the backup for San Francisco. And Jordan saying it's smokescreen week big time. Just watch for that. Yeah. I have such a hard time believing that the 49ers actually traded up to 3 for Mac Jones. I can't until they do it. I'm going to just not refuse to believe that was their plan. Dave, do you think there's any real chance they take Mac Jones there at 3?
Again, there's guys a lot smarter and a lot more tapped in than I that are talking about it.
Yeah.
So I think Vegas, are they now moving it to where it's Mac Jones or Trey Lance? I know that was a report this morning that they're deciding between Trey Lance and Mac Jones. It just makes so much more sense to trade up for Trey Lance than it does for Mac Jones. Maybe you trade for Mac Jones, but not all the way up to 3.
Right. You have to think they'd be able to trade up to like 7, 8. Yeah.
Like the Lions have a for sale sign on their door. I mean, they are looking to move out of pick 7, and that would be a perfect spot if you're looking for Mac Jones to get ahead of the Panthers and the Broncos.
Josh, you're on the clock.
Oh shoot! Nope. I'm sorry.
It's possible.
No, it's okay. I got this.
I just paused and resumed it to give you a fresh minute.
I guess you're such a good person.
You're 100% right, Dave. There are people way smarter than me. Like if they decide to draft Mac Jones, I'm not sitting here saying those idiots. Like I've been wrong before. I thought it was stupid to draft Justin Herbert where I thought for sure he was going to be a bust, and now look at him. Like I'm like as big of a Justin Herbert fan as they come. He proved me so wrong. I think that's part of the reason I like him so much is just how much I didn't like him coming into the previous season. But who knows? They definitely are smarter than I am when it comes to that. I would just be shocked if Mac Jones goes at 3.
Same.
And NBA wants to know, how is Terrence Marshall different from Seth Williams? And it is Terrace Marshall. Sorry, remove that N from there.
Yes.
So Josh, Dave, either of you guys want to tackle this one a little bit?
Yeah, Seth Williams, they are big, athletic guys. Seth Williams, I think, is more of like a go up and get it kind of just catch the ball. They're both really athletic. I would say that Terrace Marshall's like faster, better with the ball in his hands probably. And Seth Williams is just like kind of guy you just throw it up and he'll catch the ball. So while they both can do both these things, that's how I would kind of differentiate the two. Does that make sense to you, Dave?
Yeah. No, I think so. And when it comes down to, like you said, like they're both big guys. They both are contested catch 50-50 ball kind of guys. But for me, Terrace Marshall's just a more complete receiver. He's got some more speed to him. And and maybe it's the LSU on the helmet. It's that makes him a little shinier. But for me, Terrace Marshall is not only he's much higher on all of the evaluators' boards. But I see him translating to be. I think he could, honestly, depending on the landing spot, could be the top fantasy receiver out of this rookie class year 1.
Yeah, I think he's going to be great value. John said first chemo session. Man, well,
good luck,
that sucks. That sucks. But good, good luck with that. One of my good friends just started his chemotherapy a couple weeks ago. So yeah, we're here with you.
Yep.
Thanks for coming in, John.
If there's anything else we can do, if you got any specific game requests or something like that, things that would keep you more entertained during this, make sure you reach out to us and let us know.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you coming in here every day to watch. And if we can do anything to make this easier for you or keep you entertained during this time, make sure you reach out to us and let us know.
We could sing happy birthday.
We could sing happy birthday. We know that's everyone's favorite when we sing happy birthday.
You don't want that, man. You don't want that, John.
We won't subject Dave to making us do that. Making him do that either. Luke said, is that Wes Welker? Is he referring to Dave up there? Is he saying, are you a Wes Welker lookalike?
I don't know, but I'll take it. Let's go.
Let me pull up a picture just to remind myself.
NFL player,
and you can't tell, but I am also short. So I think Wes Welker is a good comp.
Nice. You know what? Maybe I can see it in the face a little bit whenever he has that facial hair. Like he was clean shaven in a lot of the pictures I was looking at. That's funny.
Yeah, that's awesome. I sound like Matt Damon, and then I'm going for 2.
Yeah, Matt Damon. Yes, I'm hearing that.
Yeah, and going for 2. The one guy said he called me a Harvey Dent from Two-Face.
Okay. Yeah.
I was just closing my eyes and listening to see if I heard Matt Damon, and I 100% heard Matt Damon. That's awesome. That's a cool one. NBA says Vegas drafting QB. Are they punting the tire on Carr? I think if there's a QB sitting there whenever they're up, there's a real decision to be made. I think there's a chance they grab one of those guys. There's a couple teams that could maybe take a quarterback that are interesting, right? Like Atlanta might take a quarterback at 4. Like if Fields is sitting there at 4, if the smoke screen's real, or if like what they're saying is real and Fields is not going in that top 3 picks, I think there's a very real chance Atlanta goes Justin Fields at 4. And then that changes the whole draft, right? Then we could see maybe the Raiders, or if Fields falls to the Raiders, or if Lance or Jones is sitting there. There's a bunch of these teams that could maybe take a quarterback. The Panthers were on that list. I don't think they are anymore with Sam Darnold, but who knows? I mean, they could also, again, take a shot on another quarterback, load up that QB room. What do you guys think? Do you think the Raiders are drafting a quarterback here, or do you think they're going to go elsewhere?
I think they go elsewhere, but Derek Carr is just – he's so sick of it. I think with Mariota staying there, that I mean, there's a real possibility Mariota pulls a Tannehill and takes his job. It's there, but and then you got you definitely have the potential of them drafting somebody, whether it's a Kyle Trask or a Kellen Mond or a Davis Mills in the second or third round. Matt Miller, he put out his 32 Rumors newsletter. And shout out Charlie Hunnam's The Man. Green Street Hooligans, if you haven't seen it, amazing movie. But he said Kellen Mond is not going to get out of the second round. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's
quarterbacks.
Yeah, and Jared, to your point, this is kind of related to that. He said, sorry, but Fields falling to the Raiders is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I am not predicting that. I'm not saying Fields is going to fall to the Raiders. I'm saying I've seen mocks where Fields is falling a lot further than people think. And if he's
back of the first round,
if he is sitting there for the Raiders, I don't think they pass up on him. I'm not saying I predict that. I'm not saying that's what I would do. I would take him at 2 if I was the Jets. But if he does fall to the Raiders, that's the situation I was addressing. I think there's a chance that they pass up on a quarterback like that if he falls into their lap. And Dave, we've gotten a couple people now with another saying the same one, saying you look like Charlie Hunnam or Jax from Sons of Anarchy. Z2 said it as well. Man, I think these guys are flirting with you because I just and that's a good looking man right there.
I'll have to put my my Halloween pictures up on Twitter because I have gotten that before. So
did you dress as
Sons of Anarchy is an awesome show. Awesome show.
I have not watched it at all yet. I actually need to watch a couple
episodes
this week.
So good.
We're doing a TV dramas tier list later this week. And there's some of these shows where I just haven't, like Sons of Anarchy and Mad Men. I've actually never seen an episode of either. So I need to make sure I watch
so good.
Mad Men is good. I've never seen Sons of Anarchy.
Jill, we'll do a watch party. I'm actually a little bit surprised at the results of this draft. Let's talk about it a little bit. So Kellen Mond, you were talking about him. He goes at 3-9, no quarterbacks at all in the second round. I actually think that's a little bit late for this second, like after the top 5 quarterbacks. I would have expected Kellen Mond kind of near the front of the third. But I don't know, but where are you guys comfortable drafting Kellen Mond or Kyle Trask? I kind of put them in a similar vein.
Yeah. So for me personally, we get into the later third round, fourth round, I'm snagging all these quarterbacks in a Superflex league. I don't know where they're going to get drafted yet. I don't know if they're going to be 7th round picks or 2nd round picks necessarily. I lean the 2nd, 3rd round pick area for these guys. And if that's the case, they deserve to get drafted here, at least here. Quarterbacks in Superflex leagues are so valuable. And if you're able to get a starter like, Hurts last year,
round.
Right?
Yeah.
He was a 3rd round pick in a lot of Superflex leagues. So, look at the value now. Look what you can get for him now. That's well worth a 3rd round pick. So 3rd, 4th round picks, any quarterbacks drafted in 2nd, 3rd round, I love loading up on the talent there.
Yeah, Nico Collins, he slipped through the fingertips. I definitely I agree, man. He should have gone a lot earlier.
Considering
or at least should have been drafted in the 3rd round. I would have put he's a mid-3rd round guy, if not early 3rd round guy.
I was considering him at 3-4, but I'd rather have.
I took Seth Williams just because of the conversation. We talked about Terrace Marshall and Seth Williams and what's the difference. Well, the ADP, there's a round. I got him 1 round cheaper, but I got them both. So Seth Williams is definitely a good pick. And that's partly why I went Seth Williams because of the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Nico Collins, I think that is a little bit surprising, but I think that goes to show, even again, the point we were talking about earlier is that there's real that like Superflex does push these wide receivers, running backs, and tight ends down quite a bit. Actually, you know what? The tight ends were kind of drafted in a similar spot, regardless of format. Looking at it,
Yeah.
but running backs and wide receivers like Nico Collins, who I'm pretty sure was drafted in our last draft, right? I forget exactly what. Now suddenly he's a 4th round pick in this. And that's a high value player. Like you can still don't sneeze at these 2nd, 3rd, 4th round startup picks whenever you're getting trades done right now, because just getting those as a throw in to kind of like even the field, a 3rd, 4th round pick, you can get some real value with those players, especially in super flex leagues. Dave, before we close off of this draft, anything really stand out to you here? Anything you want to address? I see you went Justin Fields at the 103, then Terrace Marshall and Seth Williams, as we talked about, but are there any other picks that stand out to you as a value or an overpay?
I thought that Elijah Moore was a really good value in the 2nd. Again, Eagle Dan, he's the, for president, he had an awesome draft.
Yeah, he did.
I think that was good value. And then, Nico Collins not going. And then obviously you got the quarterbacks. Riley Ferguson was an auto pick, it looks like. So maybe Davis Mills would have gone there. I think that's the only other name. I put out a list the other day of all the QB4s, QB5s, and QB6s that are drafted in the last decade, and the list is just awful. So everyone that's trying to make this like a 7 or 8 quarterback, if we get 5 good quarterbacks, this is a historic class.
Yeah.
So people that are trying to make this a 7 quarterback deep, Chris Sims and all those guys, I mean, let's hope that there's a diamond in the rough out there, and who knows who it is. But if we get 4 or 5 good quarterbacks out of this, we're going to be happy.
Oh, yeah, that'll be amazing.
But you have like it was said earlier, like by Josh, you have to pick take dart throws of these quarterbacks, because in a super flex league, you could eat like Jalen Hurts last year. People didn't get excited about him. Now he's a starting quarterback. Whether you like him or not, he's got way more value this year than he did, 365 days ago. So you get those guys, and if they don't pan out, like a Jacob Eason, he just doesn't seem like he's going to be worth much. Whatever, you paid like a 3rd round pick for him, no big deal.
Yeah. Yep, 100% agree with that. That's what I was going to say. Where you were going is like, even though they're likely not to turn out, you just gotta take that shot. The chance that value skyrocketing is too good to not take a shot on these quarterbacks here. Z2 has a question for you specifically, Dave. He wants to know what's your opinion on Jonathan Adams, if you have seen any tape. Have you familiar with Jonathan Adams at all?
No.
No
now I'm embarrassed that I don't, but I promise I will never BS and pretend that I know something I don't. So I need to look at that.
Yeah, I do as well.
I love that. Yeah, love it.
I can't give you a take all the time. Either. Yeah, Josh is just pure BS. Everything he says. He's actually never even watched an NFL game.
I'm messing around.
There's a name I do want to throw out there, and it's not that I'm a huge fan or that I know a ton about, but I've heard Cade Johnson's name on like 7 different podcasts from 7 different people, and so he's someone that you guys should definitely look into. Everyone out there as a late round sleeper. We'll see if he gets any of the draft capital. He's a small school guy. He's not a big guy. But Cade Johnson is definitely a name that is very popular right now and trending.
I need to watch some tape on him. I haven't watched anything. So it looks like he's out of South Dakota State, another one of these FCS guys.
Senior Bowl. He got some hype at the Senior Bowl, and it's just stuck. Like people are a big fan of him. They saw him at the Senior Bowl. He was winning the one-on-ones, caught the attention of some people, and then the buzz has been going on. And like I said, the fantasy community is starting to catch on.
Yeah, Amari Rogers had a great Senior Bowl as well. I thought for sure that was going to get his name talked about a little bit more, but it seems like people just kept looking over it as well. NBA wants to know, what do you guys take on Riley Ferguson versus Kyle Trask? To be honest, I don't have a strong opinion. These guys are in the same range for me. I'm probably taking Trask first, but if you want to take Riley Ferguson first, these are dart throw quarterbacks that you're grabbing here. Dave, what about you?
I think Trask is much higher than Ferguson.
Much higher. Okay.
Yeah, I think Trask could easily be the 6th quarterback off the board. Not that I'm a huge fan, but again, the mock drafts have him as the 6th quarterback off the board. Riley Ferguson is probably 12th, 13th off the board. I think there's a lot of guys that are in between Trask. Trask is in that next tier after Mac Jones. He's with Kellen Mond, with Davis Mills. And I think that, Ferguson's behind Jamie Newman, Shane Buechele, Sam Ehlinger. Those kind of guys are ahead of him.
Yeah.
We've got two guys asking about Jalen Darden. Dave, you're nodding your head up there like you're ready to say something.
He's a baller. Yeah, he's really good. He's another guy that is he's kind of in that same vein as Kate Johnson. That's a good one. That's a real good one.
Yeah, for sure. I've watched a little bit of Jalen Darden, and I think the way I had him described to me whenever someone was trying to sell me on him was he's like the shiftiest player you'll ever watch play. And I think I couldn't think of another word while watching him besides shifty, watching him out on the field. I'm not sure how well it'll translate to the NFL, but he's one of these later round guys that you can grab and hope for the best. He's got the talent.
It's the slot thing, I think a lot of these receivers fall into this very, very similar role where they are very shifty. They're very athletic. They can catch the ball. So I think that's the problem with a lot of these guys. I do think they're uber talented. It's just a lot of them are so similar, So it's
5'8".
Well, yeah, the draft capitals mean so much this year, more than past years, maybe, just because we don't have as much to go off of this year.
Sully said shifty AF, and Mike says he's taking Trask ahead of Ferguson, which it sounds like you guys would do as well. I'm probably
clear consensus.
Yeah. Z2 says Dave's homework is Jonathan Adams. Dave, that's my homework as well. I got to go watch some Jonathan Adams. I haven't watched any of them. And Z2 said I will sell him to you. So,
I warmed up to Mond, by the way, too. Mond, I think he could. I mean, he could be great, just because of the rushing floor too.
No, I love that. Yeah, got some homework. I will. I'll put something on Twitter later when I get a chance to check out some tapes.
You didn't know coming on Front Yard Fantasy came with homework, did you? You probably would
have. No. Yeah, that's all right, man. I always say, go on to shows and talk to people that challenge you, and this is definitely a fun show, and those are some great guests with some real, definitely some nice names out there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Dave, I want to thank you so much for coming on with us today and talking through these rookie drafts, drafting with us. Guys, if you do not already follow Dave, make sure you go do that. He's on Twitter at Dynasty Dorks, on YouTube at Dynasty Dorks, Spotify. You can find him by searching Dynasty Dorks. Anywhere else they can find you, Dave?
YouTube. Did we say YouTube? YouTube. It's Dynasty Dorks Fantasy Football. So Dynasty Dorks, one word, Fantasy Football 2.
Perfect. Awesome, guys. Josh, anything else you want to say before we jump out of here?
Trading does make fantasy fun.
It does.
Yeah, get those trades in.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
We should have traded in this mock draft. That's what we should have done.
We should have. We'll do another one after the NFL
That would
draft.
Be cool.
And maybe we'll offer draft pick trading.
It'll just be us sitting here quiet while like two people in the audience are sitting here trade talking for 25 minutes.
We'll just plan it all out beforehand, and we'll be like, trade's happening.
Big trade.
We'll have a mega stream post NFL draft with 12 people all drafting live on stream doing live trades.
I think there's a max.
That would be utter chaos.
And we'll just comment.
We'll put Jay in the chat. Jay and Jordan in the chat. They like it better there anyways, I think. Okay, guys, we will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Dave, thank you so much again for coming on with us. This was a blast. My first rookie mock of the year. Glad to have knocked it out today. Guys, if you do not already subscribe to our YouTube channel, go ahead and do that at Front Yard Fantasy. It means a ton to us, and you get to make sure you never miss another one of these shows again. So win-win for everybody there. And Sully said, click the damn bell, people. Yeah, thank you, Sully. I always need you guys to help me say all those things. The damn bell. That's what it's called, I think. If you right-click Inspect Element on it, it'll show you that it's called the damn bell. That's what the image is called. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow. Unless you guys have anything else to say, we're out of here.
Love you guys.
Adios, everybody.